Hello everyone! Dang, guys, I almost forgot to start. It was on 0 and I should start, and then I almost forgot to start the actual show. Well. So, here we are again. Episode 2 of the StorySpotlight show. Already episode 2. I can hardly wait until we're on episode 52 or something. That's gonna be crazy. Today, guys, let me do the intro first. First, I gotta switch over here. So the topics I have for you today, we're gonna discuss the quote of the week. I'm gonna repeat it in a few seconds, what the quote of the week is. Then we're gonna talk about some fangirls I have here at my home and how they behaved at a Redbull esports event. Then I'm gonna show you the article. I was in the news. Yes, I was in the news in our local most read newspaper. And I'm going to show you the story behind that. So what we discussed before, I was in the news. I'm going to show the actual article and also the aftermath. What happened afterwards when everybody's seen it and everybody talked to me about it. And then we have some behind the scenes, some funny thing that happens in ESL Swiss when we're behind the scenes in the breaks. That's a topic we have today. And if you have enough time, we will also talk about another topic I prepared, but otherwise we'll have it next time, and that is forgiveness. Believe it or not. That's the topics for today. The topics for this show today. I'm trying to read the chat. We may also, like Iglesias said there, we may also have some people here on the Discord. I'm not sure yet, because I have to do everything myself. I would need help for that, like Bola, for example. He could talk to them first and then switch them on when they're ready and something like that, because otherwise it's a lot of stuff I have to do myself if we actually have people here talking. But of course, you can put it in the chat. Today we're live on Facebook. Last time, you remember, we were only, the first episode 1 of the StorySpotlight show was only live on my 2 YouTube channels. But today, we're live on Facebook, Twitter, and both of my YouTube channels. So we may have a little bit more audience today, which is okay. Not making me less nervous, but it's okay. It's okay. First of all, if you're new, that's, by the way, the quote of the day. Just in case you're curious. Here's the base chat, if you want to read the chat just for a second. And then we're going to jump right into the first topic, which is actually the quote of the week that you just saw there. Let me just quickly check if everything works fine here in the show. As I said, I have to check that stuff here myself. Looks good for both YouTube channels so far. And I think we're good to go. Diego Sulza. So, if you're new, what is this StorySpotlight show all about? I put it here. I don't know it by heart yet, but I will. So, what's the goal of the show? The goal of the show, helping you to make your dreams come true. That's not new. Helping you to make your dreams come true and live a strong life in happiness and health. Helping you to break out of the matrix with truth. That's kind of the subject I defined for the whole show. Kind of the goal behind the show. And the first topic we have is the quote. Let me remove this chat here. The quote of the day, of the week. Actually, I posted it in many different places. I got some reactions, actually not so many. I expected a little bit more reactions to this, but I got a few reactions and I will show you those reactions. So all the people that commented on YouTube when I posted this, they may be featured in a few seconds. And then also, as Iglesias said, if somebody really has a comment on this, either put it in the chat and I'll pick it up and talk about it, or maybe we try Discord. I don't know, maybe it's too much of an effort. Maybe if Bola helps or so, but otherwise we'll just go by the chat for today. So here's the quote of the week. I announced this last week. The quote of the week is, Noob Master, hello. The quote of the week is, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will be easy. Is that quote true or not? What do you think? Is that true or not? Or do you have an example in your life where you think it's true? I'm going to tell you what I think about it. I thought about it for a while to prepare for the show, what I would say about this. But of course, first, I'm also curious, what do you have to say about this quote? Noobmaster says that is true. Iglesias says it's a bit contradictory, but I think it's very true. And so the question is, in what sense is it true? It's a bit like work hard, play hard. So let me show you some reactions I got for that. So we had VJ Garf. Is he here in the chat? Is he here in the chat? He commented this. That's his comment. VJ Garf. Is he here? VJ? He commented that on the YouTube video where I announced the quote of the week for this week. He said, I feel you should do whatever suits you. Hard can mean different things for different people. And great video. Thanks so much, VJ. And I agree with that comment. And I said, yes, that I agree with that. It's individual. And he said, hard can mean different things. And I also agree with that. Because just think about it. Hard, what is hard for you? What is hard for me? That's probably different. And in our lives, we all face different challenges that may be hard for us, but maybe not for somebody else. And they're hard for us. And if we take those challenges, it leads to a personal change and growth if we face those challenges. And it's opportunities. Each of those challenges, I think, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more, it's personal. It's a personal chance to grow. And it's also very specific. And once you've grown on that challenge, it may not be the same challenge anymore. But some things are there for a reason. I had some other comment here. And it's VJ here. Noobmaster says, yeah, I agree. That's amazing. I think Iglesias also commented. And I'm going to show you that one. There you go, Iglesias. Iglesias, he said, I agree. 100%. That's what he said. Iglesias, do you still agree? That's what you said. Amazing. Amazing. Iglesias, on the big screen. He agreed 100% here. Iglesias. And I had a third comment I picked. And that is by Jack the Ripper. Is he in the house? Is he in the stream? Amazing. Jack the Ripper, he said this. I love the emote, by the way, or the little the little picture there. Cool picture there. I really like it. So, Jack the Ripper, he says, it is definitely true. A little typo, but that doesn't matter. We get what it means. It is definitely true. I loved it. That's what he said. So, and that's basically the 3 comments I picked. And so I'm curious to read any ideas in the chat. But in the meantime, while you're making up your mind, I'm going to explain you what I thought of when I'm reading this quote. And for that, I got to open my notes here. So I'm going pretty much with the thing that Iglesias said. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Iglesias wants to come on the chat or not. I don't know. Just let me know. You can come on Discord and we can try if you like. In the meantime, so the thing is, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. The thing is this. There will always be challenges in your life. Like, let's say you have a test and you avoid learning for the test. You take the easy road. You just sit on the couch and watch a movie, kind of taking the easy way. That's a good example where your life will be hard afterwards. If you're not preparing on time and are not prepared for the test, you kind of take the easy way. You have a harder life afterwards. That's just a very simple example of where that quote would apply. But let's say math is really hard for you and you're learning for a math test and it's really hard, but you take the test and you're successful. Your life will be easier in the future. So it's also a thing with procrastination. If you procrastinate things and you're not ready, it will actually be way harder than if you just do it and are prepared for the future. So that's one thing I read into this quote. So we have to think of really doing the harder things too. If you always choose easy, you will not learn that much. And Iglesias says in the chat, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. My situation right now. Yeah, learning for tests is hard. Another thought that comes to mind is this. And also, that's actually also when I read Iglesias' comment that I've shown previously. Another thought that comes to mind is this. There will always be problems in your life. Problems of different size. Like there may be a person you always have difficulties talking to, and it's always escalating into a fight when you talk to that person. And you're not really finding a solution for that problem. You don't confront it. That's just an example. The problem will remain. So if you just avoid that problem, you're not facing it, you're never going for a discussion, it will not disappear. And my experience is once you think about it, why is it so hard to speak to, for example, that specific person? What makes it so difficult for me to speak to that person? And then you grow and you learn how to speak to that person. Maybe it needs a different way or your expectations are not the same. And then once you confront that problem or talk to that person and find a way, it's just like a chance to develop. I hope you get what I mean by that. It's a chance. See it as a chance to develop your skills and take that challenge. Instead of avoiding it and take the easy way, take the challenge and take it as an opportunity to grow. And from there, all of a sudden, it will become easier. And in the future, it will be easier. The problem may disappear when you take hard over easy. And if you take the easy way, problems will keep coming back. There's another quote I really loved, and that was, choose hard over easy because you learn more. When you always choose easy, by the way, we started here with the most difficult topic of the show, so don't worry. I made the most difficult topic of the show first for a reason. And the reason basically is I wanted you to give a chance to give your thoughts on it. Because when you do it at the end of the show, you don't have a chance to actually type your thoughts into the chat. And I'm really curious what your thoughts are. And I'm just saying my thoughts here to give a heads up about this thing here, what it really means. So the thing is this, when you choose hard over easy, you will just learn more. If you always choose easy, like you're doing a sport. Let's say you play tennis and you're only playing against weaker players than you are, you will not develop. But it will be easy. It will be very pleasurable. You will have a lot of wins. It will feel good. But once you face a difficult opponent, that one will be really hard. But let's flip this around. If you practice with people who are stronger than you, who play better tennis than you do, you will learn more. And it will be easier to play with them later on. And the easy opponents will be even easier. So that's some examples I came up with where that really applies. And I have another example that I wrote here to give you some ideas. Why this quote, I think, is true. And the next thing I wrote here is something that Will Smith said. I don't know, have you ever seen that video where Will Smith... first, let me read the comments. Iglesias says, troubles with other people is always a bit weird and hard to solve. That's true. That's true. But always think of it this way. Just think everybody just wants to be good. Just assume people have no bad intention. They just can't help themselves. So if you think somebody's doing something wrong, in your opinion, just think of it this way. They maybe just can't help themselves. And it always helps to try to accept and just take it as they are. And yeah, but I agree, challenges of people is probably the hardest and the most uncomfortable, but it gets easier when you actually do the talk that is required and do the development that is required. And then Iglesias, after you resolve the problem, I could actually show the chat. There you go. Iglesias says, after you resolve the problem, it always seems silly. But taking the first step is so incredibly difficult. Hello, Pixel. And did you guys notice in sitcoms, when you watch a sitcom, in a sitcom there's always problems. And how do those problems start? It's usually, actually almost every time, the reason for problems and confusion is that people are not honest. They avoid confrontation, they're not honest with each other, and as long as they don't confront the problem, it gets worse. They choose easy, they avoid to face the problem, and the longer they avoid the problem, the harder it gets, the more difficult it gets. That's just like a typical sitcom thing. In a typical sitcom, that's basically the storyline. And so that's another good example where I think this quote really applies. And yeah, but it makes for good movies anyways. That's for sure. Otherwise, movies would be boring. And yeah, I do remember Dark Souls where I really failed Noob Master. I do remember that. But I tried hard. And so yeah, now the last thing I want to say about this quote here, and then yeah, just put it in the comments if you have any ideas about that. I know it's a difficult topic, of course, and I promise the show will be easier for the rest of the show. But I think I want to have a quote in every show, and yeah, I announced this one last time, so we'll see. So the last thing is Will Smith. He said this: "Be aware." What he told a story. Are you multi-streaming? Yes, I am, Iglesias. I am. I'm streaming on both YouTube channels, on Facebook, and on Twitter. And actually, I forgot to share my stream to one of the Facebook accounts, but never mind. So he said this. He wanted to go. What's it called? Dang, now I don't know the word. It's a lot, not so easy actually. I have to look up a word quickly. Skydive. Have you heard the story where Will Smith, he wanted to go skydive? So, of course, he told the story better than I can, but what he basically said, he was very afraid. He was very afraid. He thought he's gonna die when he was going to skydive. And first, he said it to his friends, and it was kind of a joke that when he said, hey guys, we're gonna go skydive tomorrow, he kind of thought it as a joke. But then in the next morning when they met at breakfast, and I'm just giving you that story from memory, I hope I recollect it right. So they met at breakfast and they were totally serious, like, yeah, Will, we're gonna go skydive today. And yeah, he basically... He was so afraid and he thought he's gonna die when he's jumping out of the plane, and it got worse once he was in the plane and he totally didn't want to jump the plane. But then, of course, his friends were also there and he didn't want to be a coward. And so he had to make up his mind and he had to jump. And then he jumped. Will Smith jumped out of the plane, skydiving. It's his story, he told it in one of his videos. And he jumped. And then he said, it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful feeling he ever experienced. And he said what he learned that day is that the most amazing things, the best things in life, are always hidden behind fear. So if you take that one step and get over your fear, you can really experience the most beautiful things in life. That's the story of Will Smith. That also came to my mind here when I read this quote. So now I'm going to give you a quick minute. If you have any more questions, we're going to read the comments before we go to the next topic. So, tell me about your vibe. 80 Dragos on Facebook. Then, Numa says, hey ChiefAvalon, where are you from? Just a quick question. I'm from Switzerland. I live in eastern Switzerland. And the weather's actually really bad today. There's no snow at all. Absolutely no snow at all. And yeah, we used to have White Christmas, but not this year. It's just raining and it's foggy. It's absolutely not the way you would expect Switzerland to be. Absolutely not. Then 80 says, why are you sad, man? Be happy. I'm totally happy. I'm totally happy. I have to go, says Iglesias. Oh no, Iglesias. That is so sad. So yeah, guys. Oops. I know it's difficult. You could be in the chat if you like. You could be on Discord if you like. But I know it's a difficult topic. I would love to discuss your experience with that. But if you don't have any, it's okay. If you have an idea later on what you may have experienced, something similar that matches this, just put it in the chat and we can also talk about it later. Also, feel free to ask me anything you want to about this or whatever. So, the next thing, we're going to the next topic. Let's go to the next topic then. The next topic I have for today, that was the quote of the week for today. I'll have another quote of the week next week, by the way, and let me read it to you. I can't show you, but I'm going to read you the quote for next week, and you can make up your mind for next week. Bye-bye, Iglesias, by the way. Make up your mind for the quote for next week. The quote for next week is... Yes, you need to confront your past, my man. That's a good thought. That's really a good thought, 80 Dragos. Did you have any experience where you really had more problems because you didn't confront it? And then, I think that's totally true. Once you confront it and you solve it, it's way easier. Totally agree with that. That's really something that's in this quote. And I think if you think about it, every one of us gets some thought or experience where we really learned that it's easier once you confront your problems, your past or whatever, and you make peace with your past. You make peace with your past. That's very important. Forgiveness is also very important. So here's the next quote. Quote of the week for next week will be, next show, next Friday will be, it's better to be prepared and not get a chance than to get a chance and not be prepared. Let's think about this. It's better to be prepared and not get a chance than to get a chance and not be prepared. And yeah, that's the quote for next week. I will repeat it again. That will be the quote. I'd love to discuss with you if that is true. Is that true? Do you know an example where that really proved to be true? A personal experience with that. That would be very interesting. Okay, we're going to the next topic. I promise this was the most deep topic we have in the show today. We started with the most difficult topic, also for myself actually, because you really got to think about this quote and come up with meaning for the quote. And 80 Dragos, thanks for your comment. So the next thing is this. Red Bull. My man here need all the love he never got. A follow could help. Says 80. The next topic. The Red Bull MEO. So I was at the Red Bull MEO with my daughters. This was the Swiss Championship of Red Bull Clash Royale. I was there just as a regular spectator, not as a commentator. And it was actually very interesting. The next bull. Brawl Stars, thanks for the sub. Question mark. Yeah, the next bull. The next topic. The next topic is this. We were at the Redbull MEO, the Swiss Clash Royale Red Bull Championship. My girls were there and my daughters, and they're totally not interested in Clash Royale. But it's really funny when we were there and they got involved into the whole thing of the Red Bull MEO and this competition atmosphere. They started playing Clash Royale. It was only for that one day, actually, and then they quit again. But they proven to be real fangirls, and we have some very funny footage from that event that I want to show you. And so let me quickly go over here and let me show you an image from that event. It was also very cool, actually, because where is it? There. Because Senpai Rekt is one of the top players, or maybe the top player. He also won the ESL Swiss, the Swisscom Hero League. So that's that guy over there. That is Senpai Rekt. And he won. He won the ESL Swiss, and he was also playing in this Red Bull Championship. He was also playing there, and it was actually very interesting because he also gave some tips. He gave some tips about Clash Royale. That's him on another picture here. Very successful Clash Royale player. You may not know him yet, but my daughters are so fangirls for him. And I will show you the footage of that. There's some funny clips for that, how they really fangirl for him. And so that is him, Senpai Rekt. He won the ESL Swiss, as I said. And very interesting, he also explained his own gameplay here in the show. So he basically had his gameplay with him, explained his strategy, why he's playing it and how he's playing it. And also here with some details like this one. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that. It actually shows where to position, like for example an E-Dragon, where to position a battle ram, all those really per tile detailed knowledge. And I think it's also very impressive to see as a semi-pro player how you really have to go into the details of the game and really know all the details of the game. There's a lot of work in it to actually become the best player of Switzerland. Even though Switzerland is small, it still requires skill and hard work. What does he write? 80 drugs. You just made my day, man. Keep killing. Billy Armstrong. Hello. Keep chilling. So that is Senpai Rekt explaining everything. Very cool there. Very cool. He shared his knowledge. And then we were able to ask questions. There you see my co-caster, Don Rigoni. That's my co-caster in ESL Swiss. And we were able to ask Senpai questions. The funny thing is only me and him asked questions. Like things, when we casted the games, there's always things we didn't know. And like we speculated about it. We speculated about it and said, yeah, what is he thinking now? For example, when he plays a deck and he chooses the ban, what is the thought process in choosing the ban? Does he want to avoid his opponent from playing a certain thing, or does he want to make sure his deck will be working? So thoughts like this, and we were able to ask Senpai about that, what's really the thought process behind that. There's another picture. It's really a cool atmosphere there, really cool arena. Here again, Don Rigoni, my co-caster, and some Clash Royale players there too, and Senpai Rekt explaining everything we always wanted to know. Guys, if you have the chance to go to such an event, do it. It's really interesting. You can learn a lot. And 80 says, I beat everyone with my mortar and log bait, but can't beat guys with mortar and bait. Yeah, you should take some lessons with Senpai too. So then, what else was there? Let me show you. And then, of course, there was also the matches. Like here, 2 players playing in the Red Bull MEO. That's how it looks. It's really a cool atmosphere to be there on those chairs and play for the title. And actually, this was the qualifier. The qualifier will go to or already went to the final in Spain. Very cool atmosphere there. Very awesome. Now, the funny thing that actually happened there, we also have Senpai here. But no, that's not him. Senpai, where is he? Is that him? No. That's the same one. Where's Senpai? There's Senpai. There's Senpai playing. Very focused. That's how they look when they're playing. There it plays. Hello, welcome. That's how they look. And then the funny thing that happened is this here. You see my daughters there. Actually, you see one of them, the one with the leopard pants. The leopard pants. That's my little one. And then besides the guy with the red hoodie, there's the other one. And they played Clash Royale. And they never do. But they did there. And then they stopped. Afterwards. One day later, they stopped again. And then when Senpai played, we made some cool shots here. Like this one. Cheering. My daughter cheering for Senpai. We also made some very cool pictures here with Senpai. Like this one. Amazing picture. Senpai. And yeah, I want to show you how this actually happened. So I think it's really an interesting thing. Where is it? There should be the video. Have I completed the 2019 modes yet? No, I haven't. I started it, but I struggled with the second one. So let me quickly show you here the second thing I wanted to show you. There you go. So that's the first video. So in this first clip I want to show you, it's actually Senpai playing, and then he wins. And then he's asking his mother, who is also in the audience. She was sitting beside me. He's asking her to show the sign he prepared. And yeah, there was some dude sitting there that just took it. That just took the sign and waved it. That dude was me. Here's that. So here's how Senpai won the game with a beautiful 3 crown. And then he's showing, hey, show the sign. You brought the sign. Show it. Show the sign. And then they show the audience. There's his mother. I'm taking the sign away. Cheering for Senpai. That's me. Fanboy Avalon. Cheering for Senpai. Yeah, that's dedication. Dedication for sure. Not dedication. 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 And then, of course, Senpai focused on the next match. And then after that, well, the girls saw it. The girls saw it. And they, of course, also wanted to have the sign. And so we continued with that. So the next thing was this. This happened afterwards.
Just flowing into each other. They're playing very similar styles.
They're playing.
Look, we're just gonna go
and then the girls taking the sign. There's my 2 daughters waving the sign, cheering for Senpai. So they became fangirls here. I'm taking pictures in the meantime. What else? I mean, what else would I do? Then taking pictures. Senpai, I think I'm not sure he actually saw it there because he was already preparing for his match. I hope it didn't distract him too much. And then there was another beautiful shot. My daughter's cheering for Senpai here after he won the match. There he's winning the match. Yeah, my daughter going totally crazy with the Senpai sign. Very beautiful shot. I'm actually wearing the same shirt that I do now. There he is. They storm on the stage. Oh, we can't see that. Look, storm on the stage there.
Cheering for Senpai Rekt.
Cheering for Senpai. They're on the stage taking a picture with Senpai. That was so funny.
Lots of love for the players as well.
Lots of love for the players.
But as you mentioned,
there's Don Rigoni, my co-caster, ESL Swiss. And yeah, he was commenting this match. And then, last not least, this happened here. I really like this story and I wanted to share it with you. By the way, they also had this beautiful chest here. This beautiful chest. This beautiful Clash Royale chest. It was about this size, guys. Unbelievable. About this size. A beautiful Clash Royale chest. They had that one too. Wow. Hello, 10,000 subscribers. Hello. There we play. Yeah, I think Senpai plays very well. Yes, he does. He does. He's #1 in Switzerland. And so then here is the interview after he played and won that match.
Well, the brains.
She
again,
interviewed
you
him.
got it. I want to know, who are those cute little tiny fans of yours? That family and friends, or who are they?
That's actually ChiefAvalon's daughters. So my brother made this sign for me, and they've taken over, and now they're my fans, I guess.
They're adorable, and they took a picture with you too. Do you have a slight of a deja vu?
They took
vibe
over.
Yet, because last year and now this year you're close.
Yeah, they took over. They took a picture with him. They took over. It's so funny. She said, "Who are those cute little fangirls of yours?" And it actually was also in the news. That whole thing was in the news too. And yeah, they were proud. Like, "Hey, Mom, I'm on TV." So, and the end of the story is this, though. Senpai, he didn't win the final. He got second in that tournament. So, unfortunately, he didn't qualify for Spain. But he made second place in that tournament. So, that's the story I wanted to share with you about my two fangirl daughters cheering for Senpai. That was a beautiful moment there in the Redbull Arena in Lucerne in Switzerland, close to the lake. Beautiful place. If you're ever in Switzerland, I really recommend going there. It's a beautiful place to see the lake, and also it's called the Technorama. That place really interesting. Definitely go there. If you have a chance to ever visit Switzerland, I would really recommend that. And that's the story of the fangirls cheering for Senpai. I hope you like this story too. Showing you some pictures. And like when you're going there, like anonymous, you don't want to be seen. You're just there as a guest, as a viewer. And then they take over and you're on camera and in the live stream all of a sudden without planning to be there. Things like that happen. ChiefAvalon, will you play Clash Royale today? Not in the show. No, not today. Next topic. And that was huge. Next topic is a huge topic. A huge story I want to tell you. So did you make up your mind about the quote? Yeah, we really have to get this set up with people being on Discord or so that it's not only me talking. It kind of feels weird. It's only me talking. So please, at least type something in the chat. This is like story time. Yes, it is. So, there is this news magazine in Switzerland. It's called 20 Minuten, which means like 20 minutes. It's the biggest daily newspaper in Switzerland. It's free. Like at the train stations, at the bus stations, every morning there's this newspaper. It's called 20 Minutes. And everybody in Switzerland reads it. There's a German version and there's a French version of the newspaper. And I was in it. And everybody read it. And I'm going to show you the article and my feelings that I had with that. I'm going to tell you that story. I think it's also a very interesting story. Daryl plays. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You can watch the replay later on to get the full story. So, the thing is this. As you know, I was casting ESL Swiss. And then somebody from 20 Minutes from the newspaper, it's actually an online newspaper and a paper newspaper. He wrote me on Twitter. He said, yeah, he would like to talk to me about esports because I'm a caster for ESL, and if that would be possible. And he also wrote something like, well, it's with your age and you're having children, that's certainly special, and he would love to talk to me about that. So I got this message. Of course, I was very nervous when I read it. I mean, who wouldn't be? I mean, this is so exciting. If the biggest free newspaper of Switzerland asks you for an interview, I mean, it feels kind of crazy. And I did not have a clue what the intention was of the article. So I kind of prepared. Of course, I wrote back and said, yeah, of course I'll do it. I mean, there's no way I'm not going to give you the interview. It's a chance. Like we said before, it's hard because I never done it before, but you have to go where it's hard because you learn most. And to grow personally, you have to take those challenges. Don't miss chances. So that's what I did. Of course, I wrote back and said, yeah, I'll do that and let's talk. So we made up for a phone call. And I prepared the phone call. Hello, Fabian. Hello. How are you? Story time today. Story time today. So yeah, I prepared for that phone call with the news magazine. I did not know if he has bad intention or good intention, what the article would be about. And so we talked and talked. It was actually, he's really a good journalist, actually, because he only asked very few questions. And I was talking, basically like now, just talking, telling him why I'm doing YouTube, how it started, what my goals are for YouTube. That would be totally a second video. I'm not going to go there. And I told him everything. And first I asked him, what is that with the age? Is it going to be an article about age? Is it going to be an article that I'm too old to do that or so? And he said, no, don't worry. All good. It's all good. I just want to find out. But then again, it is special that you're a caster and you have children. And how do you deal with that? And by the way, is it the way? He had that funny idea. He said, so I imagine because you're a gamer, and I told him, I'm not a gamer. Actually, I'm not a gamer. Commentating games does not make you a pro player. Like when you're a soccer commentator, that doesn't make you a soccer player. Of course, I know how to play, but I would say I'm a medium player. I'm not not like Senpai, totally not on that level, not like a pro player. I'm a commentator. I commentate esport matches, also here on my channel, of course. I do commentate matches, but I'm certainly not a pro player. But anyways, he said, well, okay, I imagine that with your daughters, you play games, and then the loser has to do the dishes. That's how he imagined. Like, the loser will do the dishes. And I said, well, that's a good story. But that's not how it is, because they don't play the game. And also, we have a machine for the dishes anyways. But so that was a funny memory here of the conversation I had with him. And then at the end of the interview, I also asked him if I could see the article first. And he sent it to me, and I was really surprised that it's really well written. I'm very proud of the article. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the article. It's in German, of course. I'm going to translate it. I should actually have shown you. Just give me a second. I forgot. I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the image. I wanted to show you the image of the article. There. There's me. There's me in the newspaper. That's the article with me in the newspaper. That's how it came out. It was half a page, like really big, really big. Let's move it a little bit over here that you actually see. That was the morning the article came out. Of course, it's in German, and I'm gonna read it with you quickly and translate you what is in it, in that article. And I tell you, it felt really, really weird. That morning, I couldn't wait to get up and get to those little boxes where you can get those free papers. Go to page 21, because I knew it would be on page 21, and read it. And then I was in the train reading it. I took a picture, actually this picture. I took this picture. And while I took this picture, that was that young woman sitting in opposite of me. And she looked at me taking the picture. Then she looked at the picture, she looked at me, and she didn't say a word. Isn't that funny? Like she said, to herself, probably she said, yeah, that's him, but she didn't say a word. That's how Switzerland is. That's really how Switzerland is. Vijay, hello, how are you? I've shown your comment earlier in the video. Your comment to the quote, Vijay. So, yeah. So she was sitting opposite me for like 30 minutes. She didn't say a word. I was like, my pulse was up here. I was so nervous. It was such an exciting day. And like everywhere, everywhere, this was seen. It was crazy. Now, enough of the talk. Let me actually show you the article. Let me show you what's in it. This is the article. And oops, you can't see yet. This is how it looked. So it was basically a full page, page 21. Half a page actually. And let me zoom it a little bit so I can read it for you. That is the newspaper article where I was in. Very, very cool. And what it says is, I'm going to translate for you. The title is, "My children are very, very proud of my esports hobby." That's the title. And then it says, ChiefAvalon is an expert in mobile gaming. He commentates Clash Royale, Swisscom Hero League. And then it goes on and says, his videos, and I'm over here. I'm not sure you see the mouse pointer. No, you don't. So I'm reading over there. It says, his videos were clicked more than 1 million times, and he has about 20,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. And the funny thing is, when I read this article, I didn't know it. I actually went to my YouTube page and checked if that with the 1 million clicks is actually true. And I was really surprised that it is true. My YouTube channel has 1 million clicks, actually a bit more than 1 million clicks. It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it's true, but it is. It really is true. So, it's the truth. And then it goes on the article and says, in Switzerland, only in Switzerland, of course, he's one of the biggest content creators in terms of mobile esports. His area of expertise is the online strategy game Clash Royale. The reason for him being in the gaming community today, it's because of his daughter. It's just because of her that this happened. She played on the mobile. She played mobile games. And that's me, basically. I said that. It says, and I thought it's very important. If you're an OG viewer, you know the story, but I'm still going to read it. So she was playing games on her mobile. And I thought, that's me, it's important to know what she's doing there. And since then, I became a passionate gamer and part of the bigger mobile gaming community. I also talked with him about how I learned what a positive, supportive community it is, and that people that are not inside the whole esports and gaming community, how they really don't know how supportive and positive this whole community is. It's really amazing to be in there. And yeah, I can make a video, or I can tell you if you're interested how the story went on, because this is actually really short. She was playing, and because of her, I started with Clash of Clans. I became part of the community, part of Clan Wars. I started making YouTube videos. I became a live streamer. I started doing esports matches, commentated tournaments, and that's basically the story in short. But that's not in the article. The article just says he's a passionate gamer. So, then next it goes on. That's the second part there on the most left column. Clash Royale is the biggest esports title on the smartphone market. That's what he says. Supercell developed it and organizes international tournaments with prize money in the millions. Since the publishing about 3 years ago of Clash Royale, it made about $3 billion. Isn't that crazy? $3 billion. And that's reason enough for the Swisscom Hero League to have the game besides well-known esports titles like League of Legends. So they have it also. The the game was revolutionary, ChiefAvalon said. The hype was big, and esports followed fast. He, that's me, is a Hero League commentator. He studied computer science and does this as a hobby. It's not for the money, it's a hobby. And he said, that's me again, don't be confused. He said, I want to build the esports community with Clash Royale, and I want to create a supportive, positive community. And then it says, and that's right here, his children are not gamers, are not as passionate gamers as he is, but they see his hobby very positive. He says, that's me, my kids are very proud of me and what I do, says the father of 4. So that's this news article. Isn't that amazing, guys? Isn't that totally amazing? That's the news article. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now, what do you think happened afterwards? When everybody seen that article, there's me again in the train pointing to the article. Of course, everybody's seen it. But it's actually funny how people, they will not come to you directly and talk to you about it. At first, they're very reluctant because it's a hobby. And then one after another, for the next 2 weeks, it was really one after another, talked to me about it. And what was really amazing is I only got very positive feedbacks. Everybody, I mean, there were basically two things, two kind of questions. One question was, what is esports? What is that all about? Do they game on mobile devices, or how does that work? And what kind of game is this? So that was one kind of questions. And the other kind of question was basically more like, wow, this is so amazing that you're doing this. It's not really a question, but they said, I'm also, a lot of people came to me and said, hey, I'm also a gamer. And I think it's so amazing that you're doing this. So, and that basically also fits the quote that I had here at the start of the show. I mean, of course, it was something new for me to do, a new step to give an interview and to be in that article. I was very nervous, but afterwards it was a very good, positive experience. And it's very cool. I mean, not many people have been in that magazine. It's very cool. So, if you haven't fallen asleep, please let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very curious for your comments. That's this story. The story I wanted to tell for a while now. How I came into the newspaper in Switzerland. On page 21 with a big picture. Big picture. Did I tell you everything? Please put a comment if you have any questions. Please put a comment. Let me see if I read everything. By the way, I did not know the headline when I talked to him. He made the headline afterwards, and I think it's a good headline. It just says the children are very proud of my hobby. I think it's a good headline. And I think the whole article is very, very positive. Big thank you to him who wrote this article. Very cool. So, any questions here? Everybody fallen asleep? I hope not. Maybe we should really have somebody on Discord like Bola or Iglesias or so to actually talk about it. So next time, I'm gonna ask Bola if he wanna be on the show and also talk about it and give his comments. Because I feel like the audience, I mean, it's a step. I mean, to be on the show, it's probably not so easy. Good. Let me have a quick drink here. My merch, by the way. We're already on topic number 4. So we had the quote of the week. If you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will be easy. I think that also matches this interview. giving your very first interview, and that was my very first interview with a newspaper. Yeah, it's quite an experience. And first you really think about, should I do it or not? What if they write something bad? I don't know. I mean, you have those doubts, and then you just think of it. You have to take the next step, because good things are always behind the fear. So you gotta do it. And so I did it, and it was totally a positive and a good experience, and I'm really happy I did it. It's really cool. Amazing article. And then we had the Redbull MEO clips, and now we're coming to something very funny. I know, should I really show it? It's a little bit embarrassing. It's a little bit embarrassing, the next topic. So, any questions to the news article? For the people that are still here in the live show, I know, of course, that a lot of people still think of gaming. We're not stopping the gaming. Don't worry. But every Friday we're having the show. That's really a dream of mine, and I hope to have guests in it soon, and also I hope to have people talking to me soon, so that I'm not the only one talking very, very soon. I hope not to be the only one talking here. I can do it, but I think it would be more interesting if other people also talk and give their opinions, and it's probably better with voice than it is with the chat. Good. So, next topic. ESL Switzerland. It's a little bit of an esports stream today. I already mentioned that I'm official caster of ESL Switzerland. It's a Swiss-German stream. And it's like the Swiss Championship of Clash Royale, and we're commentating this. And actually next weekend I will publish the matches from the semi-final and the final, but it's Swiss-German. But that's planned for next weekend. Will be on my channel. I think one will be on December 29, one will be on December 30, and the final will be on December 31 of ESL Swiss, the grand final. So that will be on my channel very, very soon. Also Senpai Rekt that we covered earlier. So making the loop here. Senpai Rekt, who we covered earlier, also playing in the grand final. So you will actually see him play there in the semi-final, and already telling this also in the grand final. But have you ever wondered what happens in the breaks? They're playing, and then when a match is won, we usually had 4 matches, like 4 matches. Each of the matches is a best of 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, best of 5, I guess. And then after each match there was a short break with commercials and everything. And have you ever wondered what we do then? What the casters do during the break? Now, sometimes we come up with funny ideas and just do funny stuff in the breaks. We talk to the crew, we talk to the what's it called? The technical crew. We talk to them, and sometimes we just sing. And so we made this. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I think it's funny, and I want to show you that clip where we actually, in the break between the matches, we started singing. My colleague Dan Rigoni, my co-caster, and me, we started singing. And if you want to protect your ears, this is the moment to shut down the audio and not listen to it, because I'm gonna play you that little clip here. What we do in the breaks. We're not always doing this, by the way, but here we did it. So let me show you that little clip. I thought it's very cool, and I wanted to share that clip. If I find it, just give me a second. There's this clip. There you go. So what song do you think? What song do you think we chose? Any ideas what song we chose? Of course we chose, it was the last day of the qualification, the last qualification match. It was the last day of the qualification. And so the song we chose was the most difficult song there is. We chose We Are the Champions. And this is the song. We are the champions, my friend. No, not good. We have to move it. We have to move it over here. Oh, there you go. That we actually see it. That's bad enough. Who wants more? Who wants more? So we chose We Are the Champions. And I looked up the text on the mobile. And then we started singing. And then somebody from the technical crew started filming it. And I thought it's funny. Maybe that's just my humor. But I thought it's very funny. And I wanted to share it. And there we go. We are the champions, my friends. We keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. So, that's an example. That's just an example of stuff that we do in the breaks. That's an example of funny things we do in the breaks between the matches. And then after that, we cast the next match. Sometimes we just get coffee. Well, I think it's a funny clip, and I wanted to share that one too. Dark Fire. Livestream play Brawl Stars. Yeah, sure. We're currently streaming Brawl Stars on Twitch in German, so make sure you don't miss it. Then Utix TV is here. Hello, Utix. How are you? Awesome having you. So that's it for this short topic here. That's it for this short topic. And now let me think. We have another topic here that I wanted to cover. I can't make the announcement. I wanted to make an announcement, but I don't have green light for that announcement yet, so I cannot make it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's about the interview. I said I want to have people on the show that I will talk to. And actually, I wanted to announce somebody today, but I can't tell you yet. I don't have green light yet for the announcement. That's probably because of Christmas. Maybe the person is busy celebrating the holidays or on vacation. I don't know. So I don't have green light yet to announce the date of the interview or the talk. Let's call it a talk, because interview, that sounds too formal. But it's a talk where I think we all can learn from that talk. But yeah, I can't announce it yet, unfortunately. I don't have green light yet for that announcement. And Prototype Venom in the house. Hello. So, that's this. Then, the quote for next week. Or shall we go into that topic here quickly? Why doesn't it open? I wanted to open it. I need to zoom it a little bit. Okay, that's this clip. So the next topic for today. Another heavy topic, but I have it here on the list. This is the last topic for today, besides the new quote for next week. But the next topic I really wanted to discuss here quickly, and I feel like that may help some people, and I will also make a separate video out of that. The question is, what does it really take for real happiness? What does it take? And this is all about forgiveness. Now, what is forgiveness? The thing is this here. I'm not a priest or anything, don't worry. But I feel like many thoughts come to mind when talking about this. And a lot of people, I feel like, are unhappy because they expect things. They expect things from others, maybe. And if they don't get what they expect, they're very unhappy. The other person may not even know about that, which is really sad. Or the other person may know and simply doesn't care. And then people who expect, basically they punish themselves. I think forgiveness is very important for happiness. And it's really a topic I also wanted to talk about very briefly here. Actually, let me set the timer here to keep this very brief. So once you forgive and forget and try to live in the moment, I think that's what it takes. Just forget yesterday. Yesterday does not really exist. Tomorrow does not exist. You live now in this very moment and you think about what problem do you have right now. And you don't expect things, but think of what all good things that you have and start to appreciate the things you have. I think that is very important for happiness. If you expect things from others, that's putting so much pressure on yourself. So try to appreciate instead of expect things. And when you don't forgive, and with forgive, I mean basically accept people as they are. Don't try to change them, because that's putting basically pressure on yourself, because other people will not change. And you cannot make your own happiness dependent on changing other people. That will not work. And you will be unhappy because that change will not take place. The only thing you can do is lead by example. You can live a good example. You can live a happy life and hope that other people who see that, who may be unhappy or who may be blaming others for whatever happens to them, they take over your attitude and become happy. And I think it's important not to expect too much. That makes us unhappy. And don't try to change people. I mean, forgiving people basically means like a lot of people, they accept them as they are. I know it's hard. And it's a challenge for every one of us every day to keep quiet, to have no negative emotions, because negative emotions only hurt ourselves. And just think of it this way. People that may be difficult to deal with, that may be hard to deal with, they can't help themselves. They have their own experiences. They may be misguided. Just try to accept them as they are anyways. And that's what I mean with the word here, forgiveness. Forgive them. Let them be. And especially don't take their anger. Don't make their anger yours. I mean, that's something that happens a lot. I mean, who hasn't experienced this? You're in an argument. The other people, you want to discuss something, and the other person gets angry. And it's so hard. We know that. It's such a challenge not to take over that negative emotion. And then all of a sudden, both of you are angry, and the angerness is radiating across the whole room. And it's so important that you don't take over the anger of the other person. In that very moment, you have to understand that that anger is not yours. It's theirs. And when you take it over, it's gonna hurt you too. So in those situations, really try to be calm, try to forgive them, try to accept them the way they are, and try to remain calm. And I know this is very hard, and it needs a lot of practice to not take over anger. But it really helps. It's also one of those things. And so I'm closing the loop here of this show here today. Kind of closing the loop. If you go back to... let me show that image again. I think it's funny, actually. It wasn't planned that way, but it's actually funny to close the loop here. It closes the loop here to this quote, I guess. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy not to take over anger, but to stay calm, to remain loving, to remain relaxed. It's not easy. But if you do what's easy, I told you, if you go with anger, you're angry too, your life will be hard. You will fight with the other person and you will not resolve your problems if you're on the same level and both of you are angry. It's not going to do you any good. So do what's hard. And do what's hard in this situation basically means try to stay calm. Don't go into the anger. Relax. Smile. Smile. Smile is the best medicine in a moment where there's anger in the room and tension. Try to smile to yourself, smile to the other person. Show them that you appreciate their opinion even though you have a different opinion, but don't get angry. That's very hard. But if you take that step, you have a chance to resolve the issue. You have a chance to at least say what is my opinion, what is your opinion. I accept your opinion. It's okay. You have a different opinion. You have a different life. You have a different story. You can't help yourself. That's you, but this is me. I have a different opinion. And maybe that's where we finish this discussion, because there's really no point. It's not a requirement, because then we go back to expectations. If you expect that after a discussion, both of you have exactly the same opinion, oh, that's gonna be hard. You're gonna have a lot of fights. Sometimes you just have to accept that not everyone has the same opinion and live on. Live in the moment. Live on. All those things here, I'm saying that's what I try to define as forgiveness. It's maybe not the best term, but I think it's really important. Be careful with expectations onto other people. Don't make yourself dependent on expectations of other people. Don't make yourself dependent on their anger. Don't take it over. Don't take their anger. Don't take it yours. Don't make it yours, I want to say. Don't make it yours. Because that's not you. And it won't help you. Because then you start hurting like they do. And you don't want them. So remember, you can't help them. You can't change people. But you can forgive them and accept them the way they are. And everyone, they are responsible for themselves. And you are responsible for yourself. And that thought is really gonna help a lot of people, I think. That's why I took this topic here. Everyone is, in the end, is responsible for their emotions. And you're responsible for your own emotions. It's you. You are responsible for your own emotions. Don't make them dependent on other people. Because you can't change other people. They may change when they watch you. They may take the good ideas from you. They may learn from you. But don't have the intention to change them, because that is expectation, and expectation is the way to unhappiness. I sound like a preacher somehow. Well, don't let others dictate how you feel. Enjoy your life, and like somebody in the chat said earlier, forget the past and live in the moment, because the past and the future are illusions of your mind. The only thing you'll ever have is now. So make the best of now and live the now. Live now. Be happy. There's a reason I chose happiness. #happiness as one of the mottos of all my content. I'm not sure you noticed it. Some of you may have noticed it, but everywhere I post something, almost everywhere, I put the #happiness. And that's also one reason for that. So that's a topic I had in the headline for today. Forgiveness. I'm curious what you think, but I feel like people are It's a deep topic and probably nobody in the chat wants to talk about it. But I think it pretty well closes the loop with the starting topic, which was also deep, which was, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will be easy. That's what's on screen, and I think pretty much this last topic here, forgiveness, appreciation, not taking over anger, not living other people's emotions or living other people's lives. That's very important. It's not always easy. We grow and learn every day. Me too. Trying this, thinking of that every day, thinking of this every day, trying to learn, try to improve. And I'm sure this makes life really better on this journey here. So that's the topic. Forgiveness. Any questions to that? Is everybody falling asleep because my voice is so soft and talking you to your sleep? Prototype Venom is here. Lucharian is in the house. Hello. So, next week, we'll have another quote, a little bit less deep, and I hope for an interview next week. I hope for a guest. Unfortunately, I cannot confirm the guest today, but I hope we have the guest next week. Luciano, I missed 76 minutes of the stream. Oh, that is so sad. That's so sad. But you can watch the replay afterwards. We had some deep topics here, and I hope this may help some people. I hope so, because as I said in the start, what is StorySpotlight all about? What is it all about? It's about helping you to make your dreams come true and live a strong life in happiness and health, and help you to break out of the matrix with the truth. That's the motto of the show that I chose. So I cannot announce the guest for next week. Next week we'll have the quote, "It's better to be prepared and not get a chance than to get a chance and not be prepared." That's the topic for next week. I think, I can't promise yet, but we may have some highlights of 2019. That should be 19, not 2020. We may have some Hero Fest, the ESL final highlights, and maybe also some Q&A. We also now have Q&A, but nobody's asking anything. So that's the topics for next week. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's not a gaming show. That's why it's on both of my YouTube channels, also the StorySpotlight channel. But there's literally no reason not to have the show also on my gaming channel, but have it on both channels at the same time. Because then, I mean, some of you on the gaming channel may also be interested in those topics, so I felt like sharing it on both. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please let me know in the comments what thoughts you have. Maybe also thoughts you have later on when watching the replay. Maybe questions you have about what I spoke about in the show today. I wish everyone a lot of happiness. I wish everyone great holidays. And I wish every one of you, in Swiss German we say ein guter Rutsch, which means basically a good trip into 2020, if we don't meet again before. And I wish everyone already a happy new year, even though we usually do that only on January 1st. And in Swiss German it means es gutes Neues. That's what we say in Swiss German. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope to see you guys again next week. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And I'll see you next time in episode 3 of the StorySpotlight show. Hopefully with a guest then. Hopefully. Bye bye everyone and thank you so much. Bye bye.